Okay, I have some quick thoughts just based on these notes, which are wholly inadequate. If someone really wants to give people who either aren't readers or aren't at a university where they can find something out about Heidegger, which I think is really, infrequent that students will have Heidegger scholars available to them, even at their universities. I don't think he's very. Maybe he is. I don't really know the academic landscape well enough to really tell you. I was sort of thinking that it was nowhere, but then I went abroad and talked to some people in Germany, and they said that it was very popular. Heidegger was very popular. So, but this is in Germany. But at the same time, there is definitely a lot of academics going on in the United States. So I would think, anyways, to the masses of the public, though, I think they have no exposure to Heidegger or Heidegger scholars. And so, this is wholly inadequate and really sort of sad. At the same time, offering some attempt at presenting some fragments out of this dense and high intellectual sort of text, information, knowledge, was illuminating for me. I don't think I have a very good chance with this stuff. I really don't. I like it though, and I want to, because I did want to study in my life. That was one of my goals. I really wanted to really study, and I had opportunities in cognitive psychology, and I didn't want to take them. I did it without grace. Also, I made a mess of the situation. I don't think I really crossed anyone too seriously, but it was sort of disgraceful, the way I handled the situation. And I believe I understand certain important points Heidegger makes about the inadequacy of our understanding of our ontology for the science that we use in practice to really offer us much use, much meaning, much help. Computers, technology, capital, these aspects are served by science, the science that is practiced today in our universities, but true insight into the world, I don't know, I might be with Heidegger on that one. That which I grasp with Heidegger on that one. So, hopefully, I wanted to talk also about my ethnicity and the complex issues that come up with the intersection of my ethnic background with a lot of what Heidegger says, at least in Being in Time, if not some of his later work. Because I'm not all German, and I'm not English, and I'm not Jewish. Let's just leave it at that. And I'm pretty critical of power. I don't have very high fidelity with ethnic fidelity, at least, if not all the ideological stuff. I would say even more, in a sense. I have very low fidelity with power, with those characteristics. I guess we call those ontical characteristics of those who are in power right now. But we could look at the situation as though power is this sort of static, abstract, or not necessarily that abstract, sort of area, zone, region of space or being. We could actually talk about it as being. And there are certain occupants of power today, in the West especially, because I don't really want to start talking about that which lies outside the West, but the West and we'll say Orthodox East, like Russia and a lot of that, and maybe some of the Middle East. I don't know what the landscape appears to be changing with so-called revolutions or efforts towards revolution taking place in a lot of the Middle East, and actually now some of the West too. But in terms of Western power, especially economic and military power, is dominated by, like I said in other videos, ethnic groups that I do not possess ethnic fidelity with, or any fidelity with. And that's why I was a poor candidate for the sciences, the technical sciences, something like cognitive psychology, because even if I didn't believe in a lot of the methods that power and capitalism is using to strengthen their position and consolidate, and to really sort of consolidate their power and conserve their power and strengthen their power. So even though I disagreed with that, but I had ethnic fidelity with those who occupy power now, I probably could have gone along with it and would have gone along with it, but I do not. And that's left me out of the loop, so to speak, but not just out of the loop of power, which is that was the idea. I didn't want to be in that loop. Also the sort of the loop of being in the flow of life. And I want to believe that there is a flow to life that intersects with normal economic functioning in the world, which is not normal. There is no more normal economic functioning in the world, it appears. Where that which is normal is totally inaccessible to me. So, but let's say even normal economic functioning, I missed out on that. And that hurts me very badly because I want to study. And I want to understand. That's actually my priority. And I'm actually sort of bullheaded about this. And I'm not really willing to do something else. It's in a fatal sense. In a fatal sense, I am a bit of a romantic, perhaps in this sense. But it's not. There's very little for me to gain by staying on this track. But there's a lot for me to lose because I'm so bullheaded about this, and I refuse to adapt to the will of power. That is my focus of my life. I mean, that is a major aspect of the focus of my life, is resisting power. And that is, in a sense, my situation is synonymous with that which my situation is entirely logical. It has logically flown from my disgraceful self-removal from paths into techniques training, into cognitive psychology and the technical apparatus that goes along with those methods. And I don't have the background, the academic background, to get into a humanities program. I mean, it's very disappointing, and it's sort of it's funny that it's like a death sentence. It's not funny. It's actually quite disturbing, but it appears to be like a death sentence because I refuse. So far, I would be willing to yield if I thought that I would be admitted in the future. If my yielding to, say, subordinate economic activity for a period in order to bridge the temporal gap between now and when I could enter a humanities program that interests me, whether or not I have the capacity to not only, to explode Heidegger's philosophy is one thing, but there's a lot of other academic thought that interests me in the humanities. A lot of very modern and postmodern thought. But I don't do that. I'm not doing that because I don't see it. I don't see the academy bending to my will and bringing me in, so to speak. Also, even these areas of the humanities that I like, to what degree are the scholars who occupy these positions sycophantic in the key domains of their being? There's a very old saying about the maximal allegiance of academics to power. They are the most loyal subjects of the court of power. In this case, the Anglo-American, Anglo-Judeo-American financial legal empire of international finance and transnational corporations and this entire mess that is the contemporary world today. So there is a box. The academy is a box. There is even though I think I've selected subjects in the humanities that begin to transcend the normal limitations of this proverbial box that I've just indicated, I believe there's still maybe a wider box, a larger box, a higher box, so to speak, with much wider bounds. But I believe that there is another boundary that I will not be happy about. But these are my own beliefs, and I haven't really discovered whether or not this is absolutely true. But one can see how one would, make the assumption that there is no academic program that is adequate for the expansion and explosion of the unhindered and unlimited imagination. Again, I don't think I'm necessarily I'm not the perfect prototype for that position, but I insist. So, this has been a long video. I hope you got something, and I'll work on it more. I didn't know I was going to try to present it, so thank you. Let me know if you got something.